Hello, this is Ms. GALUSHA from ITM220. In this video, you are going to learn all about how SAP works with the procurement process. Just a brief reminder, procurement means to obtain things. So when you procure things for your business, you're procuring raw materials for your manufacturing, or you could be procuring goods that you need for your day-to-day business activities. And remember, in the procurement process, there were three activities: ordering your raw materials, receiving your raw materials, and storing them, and then paying for your raw materials. And they were performed by two different people. We had talked about these are all the different value chains. Remember, value chains are like departments in the business. Inbound logistics, receiving your inputs and storing them, and then actually making your granola cereal in this case. Outbound logistics is sending your products out to be sold. Sales and manufacturing is selling your goods, and customer service is service after the sale. So again, we had two people performing multiple roles. Wally is the person that actually checks out the suppliers and gets the price quotes for the bicycle company and creates a purchase order. And remember, I wanted you to know what a purchase order is. It's just an order. It's an order for raw materials. And a good test question might be, where does the purchase order go? And the purchase order goes to your vendors. So Wally is also the same person that receives in the bicycle parts and stores them and updates his raw materials inventory. Anne, on the other hand, works inside, and she's the one that receives the bill from the vendors and pays them. So altogether, we had Anne and Wally, and they are the warehouse manager, procurement manager, and accountant. And then we have these four different databases. And these different databases initially in the bicycle company resulted in information silos. Remember, information silos are evil. They're bad because they keep information separate from the managers that need to see it that are in different departments. So we had four systems and four distinct information silos. So in the bicycle company's procurement, remember, obtaining things involved several roles, resulted in information silos and inefficiencies. So the system wasn't working very well, and it resulted in warehouse problems, accounting problems, and purchasing problems. The warehouse problem specifically is that Wally didn't know what was selling very well, so he couldn't know what to order next to produce next. Anne in accounting didn't know what we ordered, what we received, and what we should pay for. And since that's real money that's going out of the company, that's a very, very important problem. Purchasing wasn't centralized. The people that Wally had helping him order raw materials didn't know what they were doing, sometimes resulting in data entry errors. And of course, problems on input can result in problems in receiving raw materials, and then we don't have all the parts that we need to make the bicycles that we want to make. So the bicycle company decided that they were going to obtain an ERP system, Enterprise Resource Planning, and they thought that would be a solution to their problem, and they chose specifically SAP. Remember, this slide I said was very, very important because before a company takes such a big step as in deciding on an ERP solution, it's a good opportunity to step backwards and re-examine their strategy. What is our competitive strategy now? Figure out what is the best strategy for us to move forward in terms of what's going on in the industry. And then, of course, we're going to develop processes and choose our ERP vendor, SAP in this case, and then install it. And we're going to have to hire people to help us install it and configure it and train people and so on. So when the bicycle company decided that they wanted to change their competitive strategy, initially their competitive strategy was that they sold all kinds of bicycles to all kinds of customers. And so they looked at the industry structure, and they looked at Porter's 5 forces. Remember, these are the same 5 forces that are going to be very important to you um, when you're working on your web page project. So we have the bargaining power of customers. How much power do they have over us? How much power substitutes are not rivals. They're not existing rivals. They substitutes represent what you could do differently or on your own to achieve the same goal. And if we're going to be building custom bicycles, as in the case with CBI, then there really isn't too much of a threat of substitutes. Now, your suppliers for high-end bicycle parts, they might present a problem. So it's in your best interest as a bicycle company to get as many suppliers to compete with each other as possible. Threat of new entrants, other people that might start up high-end bicycle companies, that's always going to be there. Hopefully you can ward them off with your competitive strategy, good pricing structure, and so on. And then existing rivalry. Hopefully we don't have too many existing high-end bicycle shops in our current market area. So they're going to focus on high-end bicycles, and they are going to try to both improve their efficiency and their effectiveness. And remember, efficiency is getting the job done cheaper, quicker, faster, and effectiveness is making sure that you achieve your competitive strategy and your goals for the business. So CBI went about things the right way in deciding to go with an ERP system, although in the real world I did mention that a bicycle manufacturing company, unless you're worldwide like Schwinn, would likely not be able to afford an SAP solution. So in the new system, after SAP is implemented, they still have the same activities. They still have to order raw materials, receive them, and store them, and pay for them. Wally still has to receive his raw materials for the bicycles into the warehouse. What I want you to know from this screen is, what is a goods receipt for the test? A goods receipt is raw materials that you receive in. It's an accounting of what all raw materials you received in. And it should match your purchase order. So the goods receipt should match the purchase order. So the SAP system automatically verifies that the goods receipt and purchase order match each other. And with an SAP, which is an integrated system, it automatically updates inventory and documents this in the one central database that Anne can use. And this is just an example of a goods receipt. Now here's Anne in accounting. Now remember, she had problems because she didn't know that what she was paying for was what was actually ordered and what was received. So now that everything is done automatically, it's going to be much more simplified, and not just simplified, it's going to be accurate. And that's really the issue here, is accuracy. SAP documents all of this with an invoice three-way check. What did we order, what did we receive, and what do we pay for? And these are just some of the screens that are in the SAP system. So what are the benefits of SAP for procurement? Now the manager has he knows what is selling well. Wally does. He knows what parts need to be ordered and what doesn't need to be ordered. Anne knows in accounting what was ordered and what was received, and what she pays is what we actually received and what we actually ordered. And purchasing, again, is integrated in real time according to what is selling well out there and coming off the shelves. So SAP is going to provide a lot of benefits to us. So what are the big benefits of SAP for the bicycle company? Well, here are a couple of them. For one thing, we're sharing data. Not just Anne and Wally in procurement and accounting, but everyone in sales, everyone within the company has access to the same centralized real-time data. And because we have one integrated, which remember, integrated means all together, integrated. since we have one system that is all together and everyone has access to it with their own permissions, of course, that's going to make things much more effective and much more efficient and lower our costs. And this extends beyond, way beyond just obtaining our raw materials. So as you remember, just like Microsoft Office can be sold in different versions, companies, ERP companies, sell pieces and parts and packages of ERP systems. One of the pieces of the SAP ERP system is called SRM, and I want you to know that, Supplier Relationship Management. So having good relationship with your vendors is going to be very important. You can get price discounts, speedier access to your raw materials, and so on. Another important part of this relationship is returns management. If you get raw materials that are not up to par in terms of quality, you're going to have to return them. So SAP keeps up with that. And that, in turn, helps us with evaluating our suppliers. We want only the best, highest quality products at the lowest prices, so we want to eliminate those suppliers that are not able to provide us with that. And that all rolls into supply chain management itself. So these upcoming slides just talk a little bit more about how the supply chain process can be helped by sharing the data, which I already talked about. Data and materials flow back and forth between procurement and sales from the supplier and the vendor, the bicycle company itself, and then the end customer. And having all that data and sales information in a centralized database is going to make things much more efficient and much more effective. Knowing what returns are going on in terms of our vendors is going to help us with production, because we don't want to order from those vendors that are not providing us with the highest quality. Shipping, centralized shipping is going to help with production, and centralized shipping is also going to help us with procuring the raw materials that we need in the first place. Remember that SAP is an integrated system, one central database in real time. So it is going to affect all parts of the company. Your business intelligence, research and development, information systems, human resources, accounting, sales, production, quality, and procurement. So a lot of things are going to change at the bike company after we have SAP implemented. Of course, everyone in the company is going to need new skills, and they're going to be using a new system. Now, because SAP uses best practices in the industry, the processes within our business are going to be much, much more efficient and effective. And that's the reason why we're going to use SAP in the first place, isn't it? It's because it's going to drive down our costs, right, and increase our productivity. More data sharing means better decision making at all management levels, and whatever it is that our company is not good at, we can outsource. These are some other information systems related applications that can be used as an adjunct to SAP. Augmented reality, that is like virtual reality. You might be familiar with that if you play video games. RFID, radio frequency ID, help us keep track of where things are, whether it's raw materials or finished goods. And sensors are like the windshield wipers on my BMW. They sense when there's rain on the window, and these can be used in conjunction with the manufacturing process, as well as robotics and 3D printing. So that's it for Chapter 7, and thank you for watching this video. If you listen carefully, you might have heard something going on in the background, and that's a good test question.